We'll use aspects of the next generation platform as our current vehicle lineup.
However, the aim goes beyond a low sticker price, bolt-on crash pods for fast, low-cost fixes, a C block that keeps time in the shop to a minimum. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next updates. Tesla Model 2 is oriented toward a body divided into sacrificial crash pods or crush cans are bolted on, so Tesla Model 2 has a practical basis to inherit it and turn sensitive front end in a low-speed parking impact because the deformation does not intrude into the rails and load-bearing structure for bolts linking the carrier to the crash can at the front subframe. So when applied to Tesla Model 2, workshop time and the risk of cascading repairs drop significantly. If the front structure lets force pass the bumper and reach the radiator and cooling fan, and confines damage to an inexpensive zone, extends to insurance, and premiums reflect expected repair costs, cases to total loss. If Tesla Model 2 lowers post-impact costs through quick modules likely to turn into premiums have more room. Bringing these causes and effects together creates a closed loop of benefits. Lower cost and time make premium across this chain. Bender became a quick module swap. Comment Model 2 if that would get you to buy. Tesla Model 2 uses a very practical dual-material exterior. The upper body is painted steel to preserve clean lines and allow a wide range of colors. These are the spots that most often scrape curves. Separating the scuff-prone zones with plastic makes small scratches harder to see. The benefits are clear. In light curb rubs or stone strikes, the text time, especially in regions that use road salt in winter or on gravel-heavy roads. There is no color matching, no repainting, and no blending into adjacent panels. Often requires sanding the next panel. These benefits add up over time because minor scuffs are no longer a big problem. This is a small design choice that meets everyday needs for a wide range of owners. That close off the belly and provide service hatches that open from below when inspection is needed. This shows that underfloor access is already part of Tesla's ecosystem. EV battery pack enclosures are commonly designed to meet IP67. That margin improves protection against splash, shallow with belly shields plus a sealed pack. Prolonged moisture exposure that can oxidize connectors and wiring is much less likely, so nuisance faults from poor contacts are reduced. Closed under trays and service hatches let technicians inspect and replace parts from underneath. Thanks to the flat floor and standardized access points, most tasks involve labor, which lightens the bill and makes maintenance costs easier to predict. When the battery becomes a flat, stiff part of the structure, routing for hoses, fewer minor faults mean fewer shop visits. Helps make Tesla Model 2 inexpensive to own throughout its life. That runs the length of the car and feeds seats, fans, pumps, and control units, and current drops to about 1/4. To turn the math into daily benefits, Tesla Model 2 devices that still require 12 volts get it from local 48 to 12 volt DC modules mounted close to the load. Architecture pays off. If a cabin fan, coolant pump need to remove large sections of the dashboard or chase a fault through meters of harness at a driveway, including diagonal, faster, cleaner service means less downtime and many hard-to-trace joints. A 48-volt design reduces total wiring, so those intermittent low-voltage gremlins are less common, produce lighter service bills, and make ownership costs more predictable. All-in-one 4-function HVAC unit, cooling the cabin, heating the cabin. The layout builds on the octo valve idea with a multi-port manifold that routes refrigerant and coolant functions in one total refrigerant can be lower. system, and better control of noise and vibration. Efficiency is the headline game. In typical condition, while resistive heating is near 1% of rated range retained in freezing conditions, cool down in summer, faster warm-up, humidity control, and window clarity. When the driver lowers the air's dew point before clear on wet days, faster after passengers track in rain or snow, the system can direct more capacity to pack coolant to sustain charge rate, long hose runs, and many separate valves. Test and replace a subassembly more quickly than on a traditional split HVAC. The cause and effect chain is clear. Consolidation shortens plumbing and reduces cold. When service is needed, the single block enables quick swaps. The same logic carries into ownership. Bolt-on crash pods, tough all-cut downtime and random bills, so miles stay steady and stress stays.
If one cladding piece cracks or bends badly, a technician removes clips and screws, takes off the damaged piece, and installs a new one with the correct part ID.
That sets Model 2 up for real affordability as Elon Musk keeps making Model 2's ownership cheaper and calmer. Plug in 48-volt modules. Before getting to know what makes this Model 2 a game changer for the masses, help 3 main sections. Front, middle, and rear, to absorb impact energy before it reaches the longitudinal rails. Areas into remove and replace assemblies instead of requiring frame pulling. Most of the energy is consumed by the crash pod. A technician can remove the damaged module and install a new one following published torque values, and 75 Newton meters for bolts attaching the bumper beam to the crush can. The next effect shows up on the bill after low-speed collisions. That is why many drivers cannot take the car home after what looked like a minor bump. The chance of a cracked radiator or a broken fan falls, and the repair bill gains a clearer upper bound. And total Tesla and insurers have noted even when damage is not. Every day is a full teardowns. As average invoices to stabilize, and owners feel the benefit in bolt-on crash pods can find damage, which simplifies service and becomes more predictable. Tesla Model 2 becomes not only easy to buy on day one, but also easy to keep for many years, which fits the idea of a game changer for the masses. Instead of an 850 to 6,000, the lower belt around the bumpers, rocker areas, and wheel arch edges brush other cars or catch stone chips, and prevents the primer or bare metal from showing through the way it would on a painted metal panel. The cladding is typically an engineering plastic such as PP or TPO with UV stabilizers. Good surface hides marks better, collects less dirt, and is easier to wash clean. The repair process is simple. If a cladding piece cracks or is badly dented, a technician releases clips and screws. Downtime is shorter, and the bill is primer, base coat, clear coat, and some match color. Grocery runs, curbside parking, tight garages. After 3 to 5 years of use, Tesla Model 2 keeps a fresher appearance, needs less body, flat-sealed battery floor with bottom access service hatches. On the Model 3, the front and rear aero shields are fastened with screws. For example, the rear aero shield uses 11 volts torqued to 5 Newton meters and can be applied to Tesla Model 2, so maintenance is quick, tidy, and standardized, which means fully dust-tight and able to withstand immersion puddles and routine. Tesla Model 2 benefits from this approach with a more durable underbody without removing interior trim. If a shield is damaged or missing, harnesses, hoses, connectors, and shields on Tesla. Simplification at the structural level adds another benefit. An integrated structural battery pack can reduce vehicle mass by about 10%. Increase range and wiring is cleaner. Joints are fewer, and the underside stays clean. And when a visit is needed, bottom access speeds the job. Comment Tesla wins if you think a sealed and serviceable underbody would work better. 48-volt power supply with standardized quick swap connectors. The principle is simple. Power equals voltage times current. A 960-watt load that needs nearly 80 amps at 12 volts needs only about 20 amps at 48 volts. Because wire loss grows with the square of current, cutting current slashes heat and wasted energy, organizes its low-voltage system around a 48-volt backbone with short branch runs to each device. Short to 12-volt runs mean less voltage drop and less heating, so lights, actuators, and fans behave consistently even under high demand. Electronic fuses and current sensors supervise each branch, trip instantly during a fault, and log data that helps technicians pinpoint problems without tearing the car apart. Or small controller fails, a technician many of these jobs or office in rough diagnostics, replacement, and fewer chances for secondary damage from repeated disassembly, and the number of failure points while speeding fault isolation. Put it all together, and the 48-volt backbone with standardized plug-in modules. That combination of engineering discipline and real-world convenience is exactly Tesla Model 2 targets a front-mounted HVAC module with a heat pump, dehumidifying the air so heat can move flexibly between the cabin, the drive unit, and the battery pack. Accessible locations, hose run, and routine service effort drops.
Service is
Few
where
of
this
the car,
design
a
shines.
heat pump delivers a
coolant
coefficient.
pump,
In
cabin
practice,
fan,
that
or
means
small
Tesla
controller
Model
stops
2
working.
real-world
The technician
results on
turns off
heat
the
pump
power,
EVs
unplugs the 48
compared
volt
with about
connector, and swaps
75%
the
for
part.
vehicles without
There's
a
no
heat
need
pump
to pull
in
out
winter,
big parts of the
and less
dashboard
range
or
loss when
chase
temperatures
faults through
drop,
long
so
wiring
let's
bundles.
dehumidify or
Many of these
defog
repairs
before it
can be
reaches
done
the
by
vents.
Tesla Mobile Service in your
Reduces
driveway
musty odors,
or workplace in 30
because
to 60
Model
minutes,
2 uses one
including
thermal hub,
tests and safety
software
checks.
can prioritize
Faster
on a cold
and cleaner
start.
service
It can
means less
recycle waste
downtime
heat
and
from the
lower
drive
chance
unit
of
to
causing more
warm the
damage
cabin
by
quickly.
opening panels
Tesla
repeatedly.
Model 2
Compared
uses
to
a
old
cast
12-volt cars
manifold with
thick wiring
standardized
and many
ports.
hidden joints.
If a
A
valve,
48-volt
sensor,
design
or short
reduces the
hose
amount of
section
wiring,
fails,
cuts
the
the number of
simplified
failure
layout
points,
short
and
uses
speeds up
joints.
fault finding.
Fewer joints
Lower
cut
current
leaks
also keeps
and
connectors
refrigerant
cooler for
handling.
longer.
The
slowing
result is a
oxidation
Tesla
and
Model
reducing
2 that
strange low
heats
voltage
and cools
problems.
quickly,
Combined,
needs less
the
lower
48-volt
cladding,
backbone
a
with
flat
simple
sealed
plug-in modules
underbody with
helps the
service
Model 2
hatches,
visit the
a
workshop
48
less
is
often,
low.
spend
If
less time
Tesla
off the
hits
road,
2026,
create smaller bills,
that is when
and
an
make
EV
ownership costs predictable. This mix of strong engineering and real-world convenience is the kind of improvement everyday car buyers can feel. The Tesla Model
These new
2
vehicles,
also
including more
targets a
affordable
single
models,
all-in-one
as well as
heating
aspects
and
of our
cooling
current
unit mounted in the
platforms,
front.
and will be
This
able to be
module
produced on the
handles
same
4 tasks
manufacturing
in
line.
one
Since it
package.
can ride
Cooling
existing
the cabin,
lines
heating
instead
the
of
cabin
waiting
using
for a
heat
new
pump,
factory.
removing
With a
humidity
sealed,
from the air,
rust-resistant
and managing the
underbody,
temperature of the
rugged
battery.
unpainted
The
cladding
design
where
uses a
life
multi-port
stops,
manifold
and
similar
a
to the
single
octovalve
serviceable
idea,
HV
routing refrigerant
three-piece
and
body
coolant in
structure with
flexible
bolt-on
paths,
crash pods.
so the car can move heat between
At
the cabin,
spots that are
battery,
prone to urban
and drive
scrapes,
unit
this
in many
modular
ways.
approach already
Having all these
exists
tasks
and has
in one
defined
location
torque
shortens
specs
hose
on the
runs,
Model 3.
lowers the number of
Bolt-on
joints,
assembly creates a
reduces the refrigerant
straightforward
load,
chain of cause
and cuts
and
normal
effect,
service effort.
so damage
Fewer joints
stops at a
also mean
low-cost
fewer leak
part.
points,
For
less weight,
example,
and
Model
smoother
3 service
control of noise from
documentation
the front of the car.
specifies
This
16
design
Newton
helps the
meter.
Model 2
These
feel
numbers
stronger
show that the
in everyday
replacement
weather.
procedure is
Efficiency
standardized.
is the biggest
Light
benefit.
taps can still
Heat
cost
pumps
about
usually have a performance
$850
ratio of
to more
around
than
3 to 4, while
$6,000.
resistive
When the
heaters
Tesla
stay
Model
around
2
1.
crash pod
This means the
handles
Model
control
2 can warm the
deformation,
cabin
the
with far
final
less
effect
energy in
cost
cold
of
weather.
ownership that
Real-world
EV repair
results from heat pump
expenses can
EVs
push some
show
not
around
dramatic.
83%
Scrapes
of the
are
normal
less
range
fall
remains in
and
freezing
downtime short
conditions,
year 2 or
compared
year
with
3.
around 75%
Simpler
for cars
service cuts
without
cost
heat
and
pumps.
downtime.
Drivers feel
When
faster
lifetime
cooling
cost
in summer,
declines,
quicker
if a
heating in
minor
winter,
fender
and
$1,000
less loss of
repair,
range
would you go
when the
for
temperature
it?
drops.
Painted
The
steel
combined
body
block
with
also
unpainted
improves
polymer
humidity
scuff
control
zone
and
cladding
keeps windows
is textured
clear.
plastic
When the driver
cladding
chooses
with
defog
no
or
paint.
dehumidify,
So they are
the
wrapped in a
system routes
material that is
refrigerant,
harder
so
to
the
make look
evaporator
bad.
lowers the air's
The
dew
texture
point
is
before
formed
it reaches the
directly in
vents.
the mold, so
Drier
no
air
top coat
keeps
paint
windows
is
clear
required.
on rainy days.
The painted
Reduces
metal
musty
above
smells,
is less likely
and
to
helps
chip
the
at the
cabin drive
edges,
faster
which
after
reduces the
passengers
risk
bring
of
in
rust
snow
over,
or rain.
removes the old
Since the
piece,
Model 2
and
uses
installs a
one
new
thermal
part
hub,
with the correct
the
part
software
number.
can choose
Lower.
between cabin comfort
With a
or
painted
battery
steel
needs
panel,
instantly.
even a small
During a
scuff
fast
sometimes
charge,
blending
the
into
system can
on
send
Tesla
more cooling
Model
power
2,
to
the
the battery
zones that
to
take
keep
the
charging
most
speed
abuse
high.
have been
On a
shifted to
cold morning
plastic
start,
cladding.
the
so most of that hassle goes away. And automatic car washes create far less stress in work, reduces exterior maintenance costs, and has a better chance of holding value at resale. Tesla Model 2 uses a flat battery floor combined with Aero-style underbody shields, and the procedure is performed from underneath with the car on a lift. When the underside is closed, dust, mud, and road salt have a harder time reaching the subfloor and electrical connection areas to about 1 meter for 30 minutes under standardized test conditions, underbody washing, snow, coastal, or job site conditions. The tech follows the service manual procedure code to install the correct part. Model 2 can be handled right on a lift. The result is shorter downtime and lowered by up to 14%, and eliminate roughly 370 parts sooner and drier, so connectors are less prone to oxidation. Taken together, a flat, sealed battery floor with bottom service hatches than the usual open undercarriage when it comes to mud, salt, and shock time. Tesla Model 2 targets a 48-volt electrical spine, hold power constant and raise voltage from 12 volts to 48 volts. That lets Tesla Model 2 use slimmer cables with less copper, fewer bulky connectors, and tighter routing, which lowers weight and cost while improving durability. Waterproof, standardized connectors live at the ends of those branches, so